Today we are going to talk to Mike Mangione, a member of the opening team and author of the third unit, Tales from the production crew of Universal Orlando's Revenge of the Mummy. This is episode 469 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hey, everybody out there in Podland, welcome back. We are glad to have you back with us for another awesome episode. I'm actually excited about this one because it has to deal with one of our favorite rides.
Are you saying you're not normally excited about these episodes, Chris?
No, I'm never excited. It's only this episode, that's it.
Don't fool yourself, nobody is.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. That's the end of the show.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Oh, this was fast. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you, Michael.
Well, that voice you just heard is Michael Mangione. He is the former opening crew member for the Universal Studios Florida Revenge of the Mummy and the author of the third unit, Tales from the production crew of Universal Orlando's Revenge of the Mummy. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad you can be here on one of my favorite episodes, not just the regular one.
Episode 469. That's a hell of an achievement. And honestly, based on the number, I think you should be interviewing the actors that play Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
I'll take the number, sure.
Because, Mike, to be frank, we've been talking about this book for quite a while. I've had a copy of the book for over a year at this point, and even came to our meetup at Sapphire Falls, and it's like, I'm surprised it's took me this long to get you on the podcast, to be honest.
2020 was a very odd year for all of us.
I don't think
but I do
existed.
thank you for reading my excerpts on your YouTube broadcast. That
You're
was
welcome.
Fun. I like watching
it was.
those.
I enjoyed it. I actually did one of them accidentally on my own Facebook page. And I
Yes,
have
I
all these
remember.
people joining in going, how are they watching this? And, oh, yeah, okay.
COVID rules, eh?
Yes, it was, it was interesting. But yeah, the book is awesome.
Yeah.
It really
Thank
was.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
really
you so
good
much.
read. So yes, we are going to spend the first half of the show talking about you, and to you I expect, and your actual experience opening and working the attraction. So, to set us off, how did you get into the theme parks? Not just through the gate, please don't do that. And how did you come to work at Universal?
A long time ago. When I was growing up, I've lived in Orlando since 1997. That's when my family and everybody moved here. So I got to see Islands of Adventure being built from the ground up when it was just a
Wow.
dirt lot. Dr. Phillips High School is right behind Islands of Adventure, literally is one street away. And that's my high school. That's where I went.
Cool.
It was, Islands of Adventure opened in 1999. I started high school in 2000, so the park was brand new. And I remember sitting in my English class with the windows open to let the air through, and all you can hear are the kids screaming on Dueling Dragons. And you're like, wow, this is horrible. Why can't I be over there?
Yeah.
So by the time I turned 16, it just made sense to get a job right across the street from my high school. So, get out of class, walk there, start work for the evening. And, me and so many other kids from DP used to do that. So I got hired in 2001 in December. And I was actually kind of surprised that I got hired for that, or, in that time period. It was right after September 11th. We had a mass firing at Universal for them to downsize. And I think they had reached the beginning of the holiday season. And they needed more people, so they had a big job fair, and I went at that time, and I got hired. And my first position was as an operations attendant for Poseidon's Fury.
Interesting.
Over at Islands. And that was, I got to see the original show when it first opened, and that show blew me away. And then they redid the show about a year later, and I got to be an attendant for the new show. And it was, it was good. It wasn't as good as the last one, but I still enjoyed it. I was there for about 2.5 years. I got to rescue out and do the Grinch's Lair, was something that specifically our team at Poseidon was tasked to do every year. So we'd go over and operate the Grinch's Lair photo area. And back then that was before Sky Trolley had opened. So the whole Grinch's Lair was put in the queue line for the old McMonkey McBean ride that never opened.
Yeah.
And, it had props from the movie and all this other stuff. So we would run that. We'd also run the Mount Crumpet Snow Plummet seasonal attraction that was back there. the snow slide.
Okay, I'm learning things I didn't know about at this point.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Ew.
Oh yeah, that was a great little ride. The snow always turned to slush because it's Florida. The snow never lasts out there.
No.
But it was a fun ride to work. And then we also did. They rescued us out to do the various haunted houses. My first haunted house I ever worked was Scream House, and then I was over at Ship of Screams the next year. So those were my two first haunted houses, and that's kind of how I got into it. It was just convenience for me, and those were the first locations I really worked. In that span of time, you always rescue out at other attractions too. So I worked at Men in Black, I worked at Dueling Dragons, I worked at Back to the Future. Whoever needed people, I was there a lot of the time because they'll pull from the smaller attractions to backfill more important ones. So that was, my first 2.5 years. So by the time I had turned 18, they had already started staffing the opening crew for Revenge of the Mummy. And my position at Poseidon wasn't able to be refilled until after the spring. So I couldn't join Poseidon until May of 2004. I was still considered part of the opening crew, but I came in the last wave of the opening crew. My first day actually being at the attraction was my graduation day from Dr. Phillips.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and that was grand opening day for the ride. It all just mixed together.
It made sense.
Yep. So I got to see preview day, or what they call media day, the day before, for the big press event and the accident that happened at the press event. And
do you want to elaborate on that? You can't just leave that up in the air.
Well, they did what they call a fire burn, a stun effect. We light a character on, an actor on fire. We did this at Sinbad so many times.
Yeah.
6 times a day. Same thing happened at Revenge of the Mummy. However, I forgot exactly what happened. It was like the repelling gear didn't work or some properly, but he wound up actually getting burned.
Oh.
And had a huge settlement and all that. And he's a really good guy. I've known him for several years because he was also a stunt actor at Sinbad. Okay. And so when I had eventually moved to entertainment, that's where I got to know him. But that was you can probably find stories galore about the accident at the grand opening of Revenge of the Mummy. But, the guy's a good guy, and it was just an equipment failure.
It happens, yeah.
Wow. Well, moving on to the attraction itself, the ride has been open since May 21st, 2004, and is still many fans' favorite ride at the parks. What do you think makes it so special to many people, and what has made it stand the test of time?
I think what makes it so special is the fact that it blends dark ride scenes, really intricate theming with the thrill of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You can find that. I've always been a big fan of Big Thunder Mountain and Space Mountain over at Disney, and I really love the immersive feeling that those attractions give you. The fact you are actually going through a set piece versus something that, let's say, is like the Hulk, where it is a really good roller coaster, but once you're out of the queue line and out of the launch tube, you're not really going around set pieces anymore until you're on the back half, and the old tank used to be there. Mummy kind of re-encapsulates that idea of the set pieces you're going past, that you are in this environment and the thrill ride is occurring in this environment. And that's been really missing up until Hagrid's. Hagrid's kind of brought that back for the park.
Yes.
And now Velocicoaster too really doubled down on that.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
So I think people really look to theme parks for something more than just the cheap thrill of here's a track in open space. And Mummy really hit that niche in the early 2000s when there weren't a lot of attractions that could do that anymore.
Yeah.
You had Rock and Roller Coaster opened at Hollywood Studios or MGM Studios at the time. And that was spectacular. You're flying past glow-in-the-dark set pieces. Once the lights comes on, you realize how little set pieces there really are. But the point is, it's still a very immersive experience. We tried, opening that ride, we really tried to fill that in with our roles as well. So it's not just the set pieces you're going past. We're not just operators.
Yeah.
We started living the theming. And I talk about that, I think, in chapter 2.
Yeah.
A lot happened in the period just before the opening of the ride, where it had been handed off from creative and the engineers to the operations team. And we were given the broad strokes of what they wanted the operators to be like, but none of the heavy theming material was there. That was all the operations team put that together and wrote those manuals and did that training from their own collective. So it was really the team members that made it that extra special mile. And the company really embraced it once it had happened, and like, okay, yeah, this is permanently what you're doing. This is who you are now.
That's funny. I must admit, you're talking about set pieces in the coaster. I didn't realize what we were flying past during the coaster section was ghosts. All this time. Of course, I'm like partly closing my eyes, but all the,
Really, Michelle?
lighting and stuff, I didn't realize that was ghosts. I just thought it was cool lighting. I don't know.
Yeah, ghostly, blacklit figures, strobes, and all that, and the mummy warrior swinging past you, and there's a special ghost towards the end of the track. I know I talk about it in one of my chapters, but it's the ghost of King Kong is supposed to be in there.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
I learned so much from your book.
Yeah.
I've ridden this ride so many times, but I learned more from your book. It was awesome.
I'm so embarrassed that it wasn't until one of my most recent rides on it that I actually saw the Kong statue in the treasure room. And it was funny because two of our listeners were sat with me, and they said it was priceless, the look on my face when I actually turned around and saw it. It's huge. I expected it. I was expecting a tiny little statue, and it's not. It's this huge, big thing.
So you understand now why I've always been going,
Yes.
how can you not see it?
It blends in with the rest of the treasure in the room, with the rest of the golden statues, but it is a sizable statue.
And you do have to look for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you find it, you look for it every time.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you talk about the attraction as well. I think it transcends the movies. The movies are still fairly well regarded, but they're quite dated. But I think if you take the Q video out of it, which to be fair, no one really, other than the bit at the end, no one really pays any attention to it. The attraction itself still holds up, even if you don't know the movies. I think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of theme park attractions based on IPs now, you need to kind of have some sort of knowledge of that IP to understand it. And I think with the Mummy, you don't specifically. You'll get off it slightly confused with the Brendan Fraser bit at the end, but the rest of it is a completely enclosed story because it's set up from the beginning with Reggie. I mean, you obviously don't get the full backstory of the attraction, but at least going through it, you'd know there's a curse and blah, 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 and it's set up that you don't need to know everything that comes before it to appreciate the attraction.
No, but the Brendan Fraser cup of coffee thing is referenced in the queue line.
It does, and that's where...
It's whether you hit that or not.
But who the hell? No one sees that queue line
Deb's,
video anymore.
Deb's coffee cart table thing as well. That's, so it is, but it's, I guess your general average park goer doesn't take that much notice.
That's what I'm saying. You don't need to know it.
No, and the fact that it's based on a third movie that didn't happen because of the curse. It is its own standalone entity.
Yeah.
So I think
and honestly, I have not seen the Mummy movies.
What?
So
Michelle?
I'm one of those people that you're talking about who has experienced the ride hundreds of times and not needing to know the IP behind it. For instance, Reggie, I thought was just somebody from the movie. I did not realize that he was supposed to be like a missing cast member. Mm-hmm. So again, something else I learned from your book because I have not seen the movies. So yeah,
my mind is blown.
Every 2 weeks I look at and go, why did I get Michelle on this podcast again? She knows nothing about this podcast.
Hang on a minute. Hang on.
You got to take the time to go back and see the 99 Brendan Fraser Mummy. It's definitely one of those films that really instilled classic sarcasm for an entire generation.
Yes.
How sarcastic every person on that cast is wonderful.
It is awesome. Yes. Yeah.
I wanted to add, though, MegaCon just happened, as you know, and Brendan Fraser was supposed to appear before he made his announcement that he got picked up to work in a Scorsese film, so he didn't make it to MegaCon. But working that show, I saw so many people cosplaying Evie and Rick O'Connell, and surprisingly, the production assistants from the ride. And everybody had cups of coffee for Brendan Fraser.
Brilliant.
I'm like, this is hilarious.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about the attraction as well. As far as I'm aware, to my knowledge, it is the only attraction that has a fake out ending in the middle of it.
Yep.
Like,
awesome.
It's
ride
the best
does that?
too.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was completely convincing the first time I went on it in the employee preview. I'm like, okay, well, that was a fun. Oh, we're still going.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like every time we ride it, I always do like the clap just to see if I can get anybody that's not aware of it. Yeah, it's over.
It was unfortunate when we rode it in February last year that the glass effect the glass didn't go back up. It was broken all the time. So every time we went through it, you could already see Imhotep behind it, so you never got that full effect, which was a shame. But I mean,
Oh,
yeah. But it's, like you say, you look at how much themed coasters are a thing now and really starting to come to the fore. And the Mummy's been there for what? We are now 17 years and still as popular as ever.
yep.
The queue's awesome. See, I remember, Michael, were you, Mike? I'm going to call you Michael or Mike. You get your Sunday name. I'm going to call you Michael.
Whichever you're comfortable saying.
How long
Whatever
were you,
rolls off your tongue.
How long were you working at the Mummy?
I was there from May of 2004 until December of 2005, so about a year and a half.
So this is
before
the
I moved on
weird
to entertainment.
thing. So having done this podcast for as long as we have, it's amazing how many people we've come into contact with through doing this that we've potentially come into contact with prior and not realised. So our first trip was the last week in September, the first week in October 2004, and I remember doing the Mummy many times during that trip. So it's potential that we could have crossed paths at some point.
Yeah.
17 years ago at this point. It's so bizarre.
I wouldn't doubt. I was there a lot during that time period. We didn't get rescued out to do the haunted houses that year because our ride was brand new and still so popular. We needed all hands on deck to run the ride through Horror Nights. So yeah, it's very likely I was there throughout September and October that entire time.
Because we actually rode it during Horror Nights the night we were there. Because I seem to remember they had scare actors in the queue line at that point. And like I've talked to other people that like did they and we're like, yeah, we remember. I don't know whether it was a random. Go on.
We did have actors in the queue line that played Imhotep and Anaxinamun. At one point, the temple guards were allowed in before one of them fell over off the stilts and we're like, okay, temple guards aren't allowed in anymore.
Of course.
But the characters you're talking about were really just us in our regular, our regular ride outfits. But we were just hiding in the queue line scaring people because, again, we had to have all hands on deck, so they just added extra people for security and operations purposes to just stand in the queue line and monitor everybody to make sure we didn't have drug use or drinking or anything bad happening in the queue line. So really, we were just there to observe and report, but we got so bored. We're like, you know what? It's scary enough. Let's all just scare people.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And after reading the book, I was actually going to ask if that was the case because you really entertained yourselves. I'll be honest.
But there's nothing.
Awesome.
There's nothing better than riding an attraction where the team members, or even at Disney, the cast members, are part of it. And the Mummy, like you look at something like Tower of Terror, the bellhops, the attendants at the Haunted Mansion are a huge part of that experience, and the team members at Mummy are definitely. I still love the thumbs down as you set off every time. It never gets old. It's so good.
Pointing out though, you notice all the attractions you just cherry picked are all scary attractions.
Yes.
How many not scary attractions do they immerse themselves in their operation like that? I can't really name that many. I mean, I know Jaws, the Skippers did it.
Yes.
I know the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise staff are really big into it. And Kong, when we had original Kong, they were big into it. I can't name too many others that really embrace their theming that heavily, that are more lighthearted, childish theme. It's always the more adult, more mature stuff people really throw themselves into.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
I do wish they would make the Mummy queue an actual haunted maze during HHN.
It would be cool.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
That conversation did come up more than once when we still had our extended queue of, well, what if they wanted to put a mummy themed haunted house that led into the ride?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That would be awesome.
That conversation came up more than once.
Yeah.
Because like over at it's of course it's not scary, but at Mickey's Not So Scary for Pirates of the Caribbean, they put the cast member in the queue, and then again like during the ride and stuff, and it was just a little added something that was awesome. Yeah. And I could just see it at HHN, but like because that queue is already kind of scary. Without scare actors,
It's pitch black. That queue is. We went through the express queue in February last year, and I couldn't see a thing. Pitch black.
Yeah, some of the lighting needs an upgrade.
Oh no, I like it. I love it.
Even better, put those helmets on us that you talked about in the book.
Yeah.
The
put those helmets with the lights, and just completely turn off the lights and make us go through the queue.
Awesome. Yes.
Yes.
I'm all over
Oh
that.
yeah.
Michelle's
That would
like
be
the
great.
squealiest girl going through Halloween Horror Nights houses, and now she's like, give me all the scares. I want it everywhere, not just in the houses, not just in the scare zones. Give me it in the attraction queues as well.
She'll have her
Something
eyes.
else I
honestly,
have my eyes closed
That's
for.
what she'll have her eyes closed. Don't worry.
My
about it.
wife is a little scared of me lately because I'm like really into horror movies.
Love it.
That's great.
And that's like all I watch now. She's like, "Why are you watching all these psycho movies all of a sudden?"
She's not going to like me, is she? She's going to blame me.
I know we all blame you for everything.
Well, you know, you really want to scare her. Now you watch American Horror Story Cult, and you just stare at her awkwardly while you watch it.
Yes, I will do that.
But you had said something earlier about the fact that you hadn't seen the Brendan Fraser movies, but you did enjoy the ride, and you still connected with the ride on some level. And I wanted to point out my personal opinion on that is the fact that the idea of the horror movie Mummy, not just specifically this mummy, but like the fantastical story of a mummy that comes back from the dead and the fairy tale mythology behind Egyptian culture, it's something everybody grows up knowing.
Yeah.
So you grew up
Yeah.
knowing that about the fairy tales of mummies and things like that. And so
Right.
you don't have to actually see the movies to get it.
True.
I mean, we could remove Brendan Fraser and that whole theming completely and drop in the Boris Karloff mummy.
Yeah.
And it would still be just as good of an attraction. I couldn't really say the same thing for the Tom Cruise version, but that's besides
Still
the
haven't
point.
seen it.
So we haven't
Still haven't watched it yet.
You don't need to.
I'm not
I
very
kind of
bothered.
want to see it just out of morbid curiosity, but we haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's not the worst film in the world. It really isn't, but it didn't live up to the Brendan Fraser ones at all.
I don't think it could.
They're very 90s movies, the originals, aren't they? They're very much, even though they're set in like whenever it's supposed to be, they're still very much 90s movies, or like early 2000s.
I think the casting helps as well, though.
Yeah. He was at top of his game at that point, wasn't he?
I think they said that was the best looking cast in history. And I'm like, I'm kind of inclined
Yeah.
to agree on that.
I agree.
Yeah.
With Oded Fair and Arnold Voslov and Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very good looking cast.
Yeah. Yes,
I
indeed.
remember going to the cinema to see it when it came out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was a good.
Not as beautiful of the cast of UUOP, of course.
Oh,
heard
who's
that's
she
the
creeping
best.
round?
Yep, that's the best looking podcast I've ever heard.
Yeah,
best.
no, Chris hit it on the head there. It's the best looking podcast he's ever heard.
Yes.
That's because no one can
Yeah.
see us.
What's the saying? You have a face for radio.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's the one.
There's a reason why we don't do video podcasts very often. No offense to
Now,
anybody who's on this call with me, by the way.
So, other than the stories in your book, which we will get into that shortly, do you have any interesting facts or stories that you'd like to share?
My very first experience on it, I actually wasn't that thrilled with it. I had a big attachment to confrontation.
Right.
And so I always have a very high bar whenever they replace something. The tendency to replace things frequently. So for them to replace confrontation with the mummy, it was already trying to hit a high bar it wasn't going to hit. So I went on and I'm like, I'm really not impressed by this. And the brain fire wasn't working in scene 6 yet. And the second mummy looked good. The first mummy wasn't even there yet. We had a shaking cadaver. Literally, it was just a regular mummy that just kind of shook in place, and that was
Okay.
supposed to be Imhotep because the actual animatronics hadn't been finished yet.
I see.
The lighting effects were good, and the rest of it, I wasn't. The final projections hadn't been finished, so they were low-res projections. I'm like, this is a glorified carnival ride, and I was not impressed. The only reason I really wanted to get there was because I had so many friends transfer there before I made it. Like I had friends leave River Adventure and Twister and Men in Black and Jaws and all over the place to go work at the Mummy. And they're like, Mike, you got to come join us. I'm like, I'd love to. As soon as Poseidon lets me go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was not a big fan of the ride when it opened, but it grew on me after a while. And once all the effects were officially in, that's when I'm like, okay, I can really see where the merit, where all this is really rooted and really earned its good reputation. So that was the interesting tidbit for me personally, is I just really didn't like it at first. Now I've got decor from it sprinkled all over my house here or there. I've got resting on my computer desk right in front of me. I've got a Magi medallion dangling right here.
Awesome.
I've got a picture of me and the crew on the wall over there, and I've got Murray the Demonic Heights stick out in my workshop in the garage.
Awesome. That is so
Stuff
cool.
of legend.
I know, Mike, I ended up hooking you up with friends of ours that got you that opening. Was it the press pack for the...
Yep. Yeah, I've got that right here on my shelf as well.
Yeah, as soon as they messaged me, I was like, I know the perfect person.
I remember you coming to me
and like even Tracy was like, "You mean you're not going to get it for yourself?" I said, "No, I know someone who would appreciate it so much more than I would."
Yes, thank you for that. I love this thing. It's right here on my shelf. I have.
Trust me, it was tough. It was tough because I was like, "Oh, that is so cool," but I thought, no, I know you'd appreciate it much more than I will.
Oh, yeah, I love it. It's right here sandwiched between the art history of the Haunted Mansion, the art history of Pirates of the Caribbean, and then the art history of aliens, Weyland-Yutani aliens.
Cool.
So it's right there along with it. So, yes, thank you so much for putting me in touch with them.
You're more than welcome. Like I said, there was no other thought in my mind. It was it's got to be his.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
My leg!
Have you taken a stroll down Diagon Alley and visited Gringotts Bank? Taken a ride through New York with Jimmy Fallon? Visited the Truffula trees in Seuss Landing or hung out with a real-life Transformer? No? Then what are you waiting for? At Universal Orlando Resort, there truly is an option for everyone. Or if you're leaning a little more towards pixie dust rather than wands and potions, Disney destinations around the globe await your arrival. No matter the adventure, our sponsors have you covered. Be sure to let the experts at Mouse Muggle Travel Company take care of all your travel needs, earning the distinction of being an earmarked agency specializing in Disney destinations, as well as becoming one of the first to be named a You Preferred agency with Universal Parks and Resorts Vacations. Mouse Muggle Travel Company will ensure you receive top-rated customer service. Just visit mouseandmuggle.com to fill out a no-obligation quote request or send your request to info@mouseandmuggle.com. Their team can take care of you no matter where in the world you want to go. With a flick of their wand and a little bit of pixie dust, the process will be so seamless, some might even say it's simply magical.
All right, welcome back. We did fix his legs, so he's good. Let's talk about the book. The idea to write a book about the opening of an attraction is a fantastic idea and something we wish people would do for a lot of attractions.
Let's be honest, wouldn't you love to read, like, especially an old attraction like Universal is so... This was one of the things I wanted to do when we started this podcast was go through and document the history of that park. Yeah. There's so much of it that doesn't get put out there. Everyone knows the history of every Disney attraction ever. I've said this a million times. Everyone knows that. There's books and podcasts and all sorts about it. Universal never really got documented. And then do you think like someone doing a book about the opening of Jaws or Confrontation, they would be the interesting ones because they didn't work properly. And to hear those stories would be really interesting, like the stuff that Mike's done with this.
Yeah, it's like documenting the lore on these rides.
I agree. I mean, my neighbor across the street before he passed away, his name was Lou. He was a technician for Magic Kingdom and Universal Studios, but he was an ops person for a short period when they opened E.T. and he got to work side by side with Steven Spielberg.
Nice.
So he told me stories about what working with Steven was like at the opening of the park. And I'm sorry he's gone, but he was a great guy. He told me lots of stories about E.T. when I was a kid.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Now, what inspired you to write, this book? And how much work was involved in all that?
When it was actually happening, I talk about the book where we meet at IHOP. That really was a thing that we did. If daily, if not, if you couldn't get there throughout the day, someone was going to be there at the end of each shift. So we'd get there at the end of the day and we'd all swap stories from the day of the operation. And eventually it always came up of someone's got to write a book about this. Someone's got to write a book about this. I'm like, you know what? I'm eventually going to write a book about this. And so sure enough, 15 years later, I'm like, this is the perfect time for the anniversary of the ride. I'm going to finally write that book. And so I sat down and I reached out to as many of the cast members or team members as I still had contact info for, and whoever was willing to talk with me about it and wasn't afraid of publishing their stories, that's who wound up in the book. And after I published it, people started coming out of the woodwork going, oh, I wish I was a part of it. I'm like, yeah, I wish you were too. So maybe I'll do another for the 20 or 25th version.
You want to wait that long? Why not just do it for now?
I was sad it was over, and I was just telling the crew before you hopped on that I love reading, but it puts me to sleep. Like not because it's boring, but I just get really sleepy. Your book, I was able to stay awake for because I felt like I was in the park reading it, and it was so cool. And I was sad it was over as quickly as it was.
The story in there that's about the wasps and the light fixture, also very true. That was the first story I actually ever wrote, and I wrote it for a writing class some years ago when I was still in college. I wrote it for my creative writing class. She's like, take a real life story that happened to you, make it interesting, and bring it in. And so I'm like, all right, well, I got one that happened like 2 years ago at this point. So I wrote about that night that I climbed to the top of the Finnegan's bar and got stung by wasps.
Yeah, and then he came down the fast way.
Oh yeah, nearly came down the very fast way.
Yeah, I mean, you did write that fast paced as well. Like almost like real time. I read it fast.
I found myself reading books like this a lot of the time. It's difficult to write humor in a book that's factual, and I found myself laughing out loud
so much.
many times.
Yeah. Me too.
Thank you. That's what I was going for. I'm like, I wanted the facts of the moment, but I also wanted to dramatize it and make you feel like you were there.
Yeah.
That's part of the fun thing of like storytelling around the campfire is it's always very first person. It's always very intimate, and you're getting the emotion behind the person that it happened to.
Yeah.
And that's what I was really aiming for with this. And some people were like a couple of the people that I had pulled stories from really just wanted me to publish the facts and not the emotion. I'm like, but you're not really getting what I'm going for.
Yeah.
So they weren't a huge fan of their chapters when I was done, but I made it up to them in the end anyway. I don't know if they'll contribute for the 20th or the 25th or the one I'll write tomorrow, whatever. But I'm still happy that they gave me their stories the first go around, and I'm very happy with the way it connected with, especially you guys as well.
Yeah. It's such an interesting perspective because as theme park goers, you don't see that behind the scenes thing. You don't know what goes into the average day of a team member working at the parks. It's seamless from a guest perspective, and then to see it from that other side, you appreciate it so much more. I know one of the stories that really connected with me, and it's something we've instilled on the show a lot, is giving that feedback to team members when they've gone out of their way to do a good job. We encourage everyone to tell us about it because we want to tell the world about it, and also go to guest services and tell them. And it was the guy who was angry. I can't remember.
His child was too small.
Yeah, is that yeah.
They travelled some distance to ride.
Just such a great story about how he calmed him down and then gave the little kid that experience in the sort of control room and stuff. Just that is, for me, the stuff that makes Universal stand out, because the team members will go above and beyond to give people that experience. And it's theme parks are inherently made of memories, but then it's the people that work in them that make those memories stick, because a theme park will be a theme park and the same experience every day. It's those interactions with other guests and team members and waiters and waitresses and that really make those memories something special.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the chapter you're talking about was our team lead, Henry, who is not his actual name. Yeah. If you read the chapter, obviously you know that the guy's son was too short to ride, and he had gotten irate enough where they were calling in security to kick him out of the park on the spot. And then Henry was like, he came out, calmed the supervisors down, and the supervisors were very worried. And his literal words were, "Let me talk to him, and I guarantee you by the end of the night, he's going to offer me a steak
that was
dinner."
right. Yes. So cool.
Because they want to kiss you or buy you dinner.
That is an amazing team member.
Yeah, to be able to keep level-headed like that and to be able to read a person.
But then not only just calm the situation down, but then give that family an experience and a memory to take home with them.
Sometimes that can be risky too, because then you have guests hearing about those kind of things and coming in trying to get that special experience too, and going out of their way to be a jerk to everybody there, thinking that if they get worked up enough, they'll get something special, and that's not exactly what we're shooting for.
No, of course not.
Again, that comes down to the team member being that skilled, being skilled enough to be able to read the genuine body language.
Are you being angry because you think you're going to get something out of it, or are you genuinely upset?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had handfuls of those experiences myself, and I always go the route of, okay, let's assume this person's being genuine. Yeah. And it always winds up being in my favor. And I had a job in the park for a short period of time. I was an in-park technician, and they pulled my technical duties because our vehicles were down for quite a while. This was just before the parade opened up. And they're like, just go out into the park and do guest services. So I would go out of my way to find a guest that was having a bad day, like a family that was having a bad day. And I'd be like, okay, guys, what's going on? What kind of problems are you having? And they're like, okay, well, we tried to do this and this happened or this happened. I'm like, okay, let me go see what I can do. What attraction do you want to do next? And like, okay, I would really love to do this attraction. All right. And I walk them over, put them on that ride. And they come out, and I'd be waiting for them. I'm like, what'd you guys think? Get the reviews. I'm like, okay, we're going to play a new game. It's kind of similar to that taxi game. I forgot what was the name of the taxi game.
Cash Cab.
Cash Cab. Yeah, we're going to play the Universal Studios version of Cash Cab. I'm going to ask you a question. You get it right, I'm going to walk you on another ride.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And so you get the question wrong, and here's your stop.
Yeah.
And so I started asking them basic questions about Universal movies see how good their movie knowledge was, and then the questions would get harder and harder and harder. But yeah, it was a great time. And so a lot of us that went through the Mummy had that type of mentality of we wanted to do something extra and make sure you had a great day. So
as I say, it's those experiences that you take home. Like you say, you'll go to Universal and you'll enjoy it because of the rides and everything else, but it's those interactions that you will remember for years. I've said it a million times before. We had interaction with our 11-year-old at Halloween Horror Nights with the usher and Icon Alley at Halloween Horror Nights 25, where he did his little set piece and he dedicated it to her. He wrote her name in blood on the window and licked it off. And it's like, that memory will stick with me forever.
Yeah. Yeah, but then
that's epic.
We saw him the next night, and he pointed to her and said, mouthed her name across the crowd.
So amazing.
That was the next night. I mean, she is a beast and would be a natural scare actor, just without acting. But that's beside the point.
She's a teenager.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Since she was about 5, to be fair. But anyway.
But yeah, you're right. It is those things that make a big difference.
Yeah. I applaud the usher for that, because I can't remember names to save my life. I'll remember faces all day long. Yeah. Be like, hey, I remember you, but I don't remember your name, and I'm so sorry.
It was a very specific usher, actually. It was Ross Padgett, I think, at the time.
Oh,
so,
yeah? I know Ross. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's hilarious as well. But anyway.
Yeah. Digress. So, yeah, there are so many great stories in the book. I mean, I really want to dissect every single one, but we don't have time.
I know, me too.
I know. And you guys really come across as a really tight-knit team, which is so nice to read about. But I think that the story we've got to talk about here is that breaking the capacity record, because that was phenomenal. So tell us about that one.
It was stressful.
It
stressed
was.
me
It's
out.
mental.
It's crazy.
Okay. Well, you picked an interesting one for me to talk about. I'll say one thing about this part. There were 3 chapters in the book that I cut out.
Okay.
On my own. Because I wanted to originally send the reader on a roller coaster ride of bringing you high, sending you to a low, sending you back to a high, and ending you up there.
Okay.
And the 3 I cut out were all the lows.
Okay.
Because it didn't come across like I was really sending you on a journey as much as I had an axe to grind on things that happened. And one of those things was the capacity competition. Like I had a big axe to grind about that, because I knew the way management works in these parks is, okay, once you have set that bar, you have to meet that bar every time from now on.
Yeah.
So even though the opening team was doing this to prove a point, just to prove that they could do it, every team since then has to hit that point.
Wow.
And it becomes very unfortunate. I'm like, no, you guys don't realize what you're doing to yourselves. You need to pump the brakes. Sure, hit it once, but don't hit it the next hour. Like, pull yourself back a little. You're giving,
Yeah.
you're running yourself ragged, and you're going to wind up running everybody ragged that comes after you.
Yeah, they could have done it once and passed it off as a fluke.
Yeah.
But because was it 3 hours in a row they did?
At least, yeah, they did 3 hours in a row that first day, and then the next day, same thing happened again.
Oh my goodness.
Our manager did not go in the cage.
No.
The next day, and I'm like, so that reward, that incentive to see our manager go into the cage was no longer there. Oh yeah, for the listeners that have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bet was our management said you couldn't break the record, and we said, okay, what's our incentive to do it? And our manager said, I will climb into our 88 dog cage and sit there for every hour you break the record. He was in there for 3 straight hours just sitting in a cage. And I've got an illustration of it in the book. I actually wound up using that illustration as my company logo.
Oh, wow. Hey, he got fed cookies, so he wasn't badly treated.
No.
Yep, we got him cookies, we got him water, and he just sat there with his clipboard talking on his radio when he needed to. But
that stressed me out for exactly the reasons you're saying. That I knew from the moment you started talking about it that it wasn't really a game. That if you guys proved you could do it, then you were stuck with it.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, because you're proving that you can do that capacity.
I also had the other axe to grind was I think I may have mentioned it in the chapter that it was in the book, but we had to disable show effects because they can't reset fast enough for the capacity we were pumping them through.
Yeah.
So like show curtains would be disabled. I did? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd go into scene 2 and scene 1 would start immediately while you're passing into scene 2. So you'd see the scene reset and go again. So it didn't look like a flowing story as much as it just did a factory you're going through.
Yeah, which is annoying as a guest when you see those things. It's like, one of the biggest complaints about horror nights, isn't it? When you see an actor reset before it happens. And so you sort of sacrificing guest experience to get that throughput.
Yeah, and like there are show doors and sound curtains in between scene 1 and scene 2, scene 2 and scene 3, scene 3 and scene 4. And all those get disabled when you're running that fast. So the show bleeds over into each scene. So you're in the middle of scene 2, and you're watching scene 2 happen, and you hear scene 1 behind you, and you hear scene 3 in front of you. And I'm like, why are you breaking your ride? I mean, look at it this way. All those park guests that are coming to the park and they're lining up for this, let's say you're running a restaurant, and you have that crowd coming to taste your steak because you've got really good steak. But the demand is so high, your line is so long, you have to start giving them hamburger because it's a lot faster to produce than steak. But they didn't come for the hamburger, they came for the steak. And they're going to talk about the fact you didn't deliver on what they came for.
Yeah.
Very true.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That put me at odds with a lot of the lead team. And that's what the next chapter I cut out was about.
Okay.
The fact that a lot of us that were still based in the quality of what we were delivering and the thematics of what we were delivering were now officially at odds with what our management wanted us to do. It's like they switched their goal and they expected us to switch along with them. And we didn't agree with that on a fundamental standpoint.
It's been a while since I've read it. What was the actual record in the end?
Hang on a second. Let me, I got the book right here.
It was about 200, 250 higher than normal. Because wasn't it 1,984 was the...
Yeah, something like that. Our fastest dispatch time was we could do 16 people in 25 seconds.
Wow.
Is what we eventually got down to.
2,158 guests in an hour.
Yeah.
There you go. That was it.
Well done.
That is an incredible amount of people.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, the ride was built to eat people, as we say. There are very few capacity hounds in the park. River Adventure is one of them. Jaws was one of them. Just those things that can really crank through people very quickly. The new King Kong is a capacity hound as well. I don't know the numbers for Velocicoaster or Hagrid's, but Dueling Dragons was because of the double launch or the double dispatch. Let's see. Men in Black wasn't. It's not considered. Oh, Men in Black is considered a capacity hound because they do 6 people every 20 seconds, I think.
Just cycle rapidly, that one.
I don't know exactly how much Velocicoaster does, but I know I was told by someone it does way more than 1,000 an hour. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they have to shoot for these days. I remember when I was at Poseidon's Fury, our max was we can only fit 220 people into that room, and it could go every 10 minutes at its fastest.
Wow.
So, that was relatively fast. In peak season, that really helps in peak season. Yeah, I think it was we could get through 1,000 guests in an hour or something more than that.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, it was a little over 1,000 we could pull in Poseidon. And that's based on just people shuffling. It's not a dispatch.
No.
So working those kind of capacity rides, it was a lot of fun in the moment for people to try to break that record. It was a good challenge. It was, rise to the demand that's in front of you. And there's just two sides to every coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just
I know that everybody felt a good sense of accomplishment at the end of that.
Yeah.
And I felt horrible raining on their parade all the time. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy here. I really don't. But I'm really happy you accomplished what you set out to do, and this is a huge thing. You guys should celebrate it. But for the love of God, pull it back a little.
Yeah, you think about the consequences. Like you say, we never thought about it, and you're setting a bar.
Well, I mean, everybody was dying of thirst
Yes, it was
and
that.
hunger. Like, you can't do that on a regular basis. That's not.
No.
People burn
not
out
fair.
fast and get sick.
And that was one of the things I talked about in a later chapter. We didn't have a water fountain up there. The
No.
closest water we could get was down in the queue line with the guests. We
crazy.
had a sink. We didn't. The bathroom sinks in our break room were as close as we could get to water in our area. Otherwise, if you didn't go down and use the water fountains with the guests, you had to go across the street to Finnegan's, and that was the closest potable water unless you brought it into the building yourself.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
not good.
So that's when the third unit came around and was like, okay, we're going to put a water cooler up here and no one's going to say anything about it. Because a lot of the time, before we had a facilities department, you had an entire chain of people you had to get approvals to do anything for. And we were just really tired of all the bureaucracy that got between us and getting something done. So we just would come in the middle of the night and get something done.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of the middle of the
not?
night, that's a perfect segue into my favourite chapter of the book. People, seriously, go and get this book. You will not regret it if you're a fan of the Mummy. So you'll
really
have a
won't.
better idea of what we're talking about. It was the, I think it was just before opening when they'd ordered the stanchions for outside for the extended
it's
queue,
hilarious.
and the order got ballsed up. So basically, all you guys were creeping around the park trying to steal.
Mission Impossible.
It just, I could read that chapter and just picture being there.
Yeah.
It was
like watching a movie.
a funny sitcom. You can imagine it happening. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, that's absolutely true story. We never found out exactly what happened to our queue line, like if it was never ordered or if it was ordered incorrectly or if it was shipped incorrectly. But the day before the employee preview, the employee preview didn't need a queue line. The day before guest preview, it was a Sunday. We were opening Monday. We went to go collect the queue stuff. None of the queue stuff had arrived over the weekend. And all the management had gone home for the night. And no one was picking up their phone when we would call them. So we're like, we've got to open 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. 4 guests, and we have no place to put them. We don't even have access to wide bottom stanchions to even put down a temporary queue. Wow. What are we going to do? Okay, we're all going to have a very discreet covert meeting, and we will come up with a solution. And the solution was a good chunk of us came in the middle of the night, dressed head to toe in black. At about 1 or 2 in the morning, we all came in and snuck from extended queue to extended queue. We stole Men in Black's queue. We stole Jaws's extended queue.
Just awesome.
And, we had wheelchairs full of stanchions and queue rope. And we were dodging security because we weren't allowed to be doing this without supervisors present. And it was just an incredibly fun time. Running and hiding behind trash cans and whistling or humming the Mission Impossible
that was
theme.
the best bit. That was the best bit.
But I like how the stealth element just seemed to fade away as the night went on.
Just absolutely,
and it got louder and louder, and you just all got a bit reckless. Hanging off the golf carts.
We're too far in now.
A golf cart and went to islands too, didn't you? My goodness.
Yep, we did that too. There was, I know I don't talk about in the book, there was fallout the next day because we did all that. So the team that night got called back into our office one by one to meet with the supervisors and the security team.
Oh dear.
So apparently, the security team was ready to accuse the contractors, the third-party contractors that come into the property for stealing the metal stanchions with the intent on recycling or selling them. And they didn't know who had done it until they checked the perimeter road security feed and saw us on the golf cart with so many stanchions in hand.
Oops.
And it's when they put everything together and came to talk to the lead team. Now, granted, after a very long explanation was had, everything turned out fine. No one was written up in the end, but they said, you really need to at least talk to security before you do something like that. And we're like, well, even if we talked to security, they wouldn't have given us permission until they got a hold of you guys, and we couldn't do that.
Yes.
So,
yeah, it's not like you guys, it's not like you were doing it to just be, you were doing it for the good of the ride,
reason,
to be fair.
Right.
Honestly, I would have seen that as something to like
Initiative,
give
like
praise
showing.
to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got the mission completed.
Yeah. That you cared about the opening of that attraction that much that you went to those lengths to make sure it opened as it should have done.
I mean,
exactly.
It's amazing. Yeah, that 50% having to wear black and just doing Mission Impossible stuff. Also, right?
I find it a little suspicious that they all had these outfits.
Yes.
We don't all have black gloves and the black eyeliner that goes under your eyes. We don't have that for any reason at all.
No.
And the headset flashlights and all that.
Yeah.
Well, we just heard Lee's favorite story. My favorite story was the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, and
So
Tracy's.
good.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Random singing. Do you have a favorite story from the book, Michael?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of biased on my favorite stories or my personal experiences.
Of course.
I mean, I love the story I wrote in there about Murray, the
Thank you.
demonic height stick. That one.
I was going to ask you
Yes.
about Murray.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one always hits me in the heart every time I think about it. That's why he's out in my workshop whenever I go to work.
Yeah.
He's standing there, and Esmeralda's right there on the shelf next
Murray's
to him.
wife. Oh,
Yeah, so
oh
cool.
my heart.
Just for those
That was
listening,
me.
Mike, I'm going to encourage everyone
go
about it. Just kind of elaborate a little bit on that for people listening. Because it is a cool story.
The Murray the Demonic Height Stick is something I made. I really connected with a family of guests in the park so much that they came back to see me repeatedly over the years. And one time I wasn't there, but they brought Murray the Demonic Height Stick a wife, which was a wood-carved skull wrapped in what looked like medical tape, but it was meant to look like mummy wrap.
Yeah, cool.
And they left it for me. I happened to be out of the country at the time, and so those two elements are sitting in my workshop out in my garage. And every time I look at them, I'm like, this is why I put that extra quality in all my work, is to connect with people on that kind of a level. But yeah, that's one of my personal favorite stories. But my absolute personal favorite story is when we went raiding the Triceratops Encounter queue line in the middle of the night again. That's my favorite story. It's because although I'm a huge fan for The Mummy, I am a much bigger fan for Jurassic Park. And being able to go through the rundown, abandoned attraction of Jurassic Park after a hurricane's hit. I am in my element. This is really it. I am actually walking through the storm-ridden Jurassic Park.
You really were.
Literally.
And getting stalked by something. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
The pile of bones we saw in the middle of the way station. The multiple pile of bones at that.
Getting stalked by a creature that turned out to be a cat.
Yeah.
And adorable little family kittens.
Yeah, I know. The pile of bones, though, because it was in Jurassic Park, I immediately was like, in my mind's eye, I was seeing like 12-foot long femurs and stuff like that. So
I was like, what?
It's like, hang on a minute, what on earth is this?
Yep.
So
it was
good.
just those turkey legs. The turkey legs they served in Jurassic Park.
They are
Which is
monsters
really
anyway, to be
piles.
fair.
Which is nasty and creepy. Like, oh,
Yeah.
those are legit bones. Ew.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's why we were really freaked out in the middle of the night to just happen upon this little shrine of dead bones. Or dead bones. The shrine of bones that have been picked clean of meat.
Yeah.
But the kitties were well fed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adorable kittens. I'm sad that their home's been wrecked to build Velocicoaster, but I'm sure they found another place.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're in the Sinbad Auditorium now. Why not?
Yeah.
or the Tony Amphitheater.
Yeah.
But so cool that you were able to salvage things from such an old attraction that literally overgrown and taken over by cats, and take it and repurpose it for the Mummy. Like something I would have never even imagined that you guys had done,
Yeah. That was also a really fun time for us. And another one of the chapters I cut out of the book talks about the fallout of us doing everything we did and the fact that it all had to be undone as well.
No.
That was one of the down note chapters. I think it was the last down note chapter before wrapping up or picking us back up at the end for the shrines and stuff. But one of the things I didn't get to talk about was GE had purchased the park. NBC GE purchased the park right before the Mummy opened, and GE had started passing down their safety protocols everywhere and redoing how management was done throughout the park. And that had a lot of repercussions all across the area. Like stunt shows were hit very heavily because they didn't fit into their insurance plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ride operation procedures, they tried to make them more like factory operation procedures, which really hindered what we were trying to do. Like for us to dispatch a car, it was like as if we were operators at a factory on a factory line. And so we had to start following those kind of standards, which was ridiculous for for our job requirements. But one of the things that GE did was establish our facilities department, who they then went around with the facilities department, the budgetary department, and like 2 or 3 other departments. And they went from venue to venue and audited everything in the building. And if it wasn't supposed to be there, it got taken out.
Wow.
So all of the changes we made over the years got taken out. And that was October 2005 when they came through and did that. We were all at, like the bulk of the 3rd unit was over at running Terror Mines at the time. So when we came back to the Mummy, it had already happened while we were gone. We're like, what happened to all the stuff that was here? They're like, yeah, it all got taken away. And
That's
so like
terrible.
the water coolers we put up on the platform, those were gone. The benches we took out of Triceratops Encounter, those were gone. All the queue stuff like the decor stuff we put in the queue line, like Deb's craft service tables I talk about in a certain chapter, that got pulled out too. There's so many improvements and changes all got undone.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And that was one of the last blows for the real core of the 3rd unit.
Yeah.
Before everybody started breaking off to go to different attractions. Like I had gone to Entertainment Right like a month and a half after that happened. And a lot of the other guys either went to Entertainment. I know a good chunk of them all went over to Dudley Do Right. And they continue their own shenanigans over at Dudley Do Right, but I'll let them tell that story.
Yeah, we need that one fixed.
Yes.
That's so sad, though, because, I would think as a business owner that you really look to have employees who really take their job seriously and go above and beyond what is required of them. And that's exactly what the 3rd unit was all about.
Yeah.
And
looking
how
out for
sad
each other.
that like all of that effort and something that they didn't have to pay some overpaid, whatever to come in and do all that design work and that heavy lifting. You guys did it.
Yeah.
And then they just take it out for no reason. Why? That stuff probably went in a dumpster somewhere or in a warehouse, but it makes no sense.
No.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know why they felt the need to remove everything that was already in there. Like, there was, in the old vestibule, before the lockers are in there now, you'd walk past where we had set up Deb's craft service tables, and there was an office, storage closets on the left and right. The one on the left was big enough to be an office. So we didn't actually have a training office for our thematics training, which was 2 days long. So we came in again in the middle of the night and brought in office furniture and decked that place out to be a real office. And that was our thematic office. So whenever you had to go through training, that's where you took your training classes at for us. Because we couldn't get space anyplace else. You couldn't be in the lead office. Otherwise, you were down in the break room and you were in everybody's way. So, just a nice quiet place to be able to take your tests and stuff. It was nice. And all that got ripped out too.
It doesn't make sense if
No.
Well, in hindsight, since none of that building is there anymore, it's kind of, it's like, well, it would have come out anyway 15 years later.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's taking away the water fountain. That's really shocked me because that's like a health requirement in a way.
Yeah. We agree that was a really
That's to be
not
honest.
a good thing for them to do, but there's not much we could do about it. Like management said this was not okay to be here. It was not granted approval. It's got insurance problems or whatever. It's too close to the ride track. I don't remember exactly what excuse they gave, but that's why they took that out too. And it's not like it was one of those ones that was plugged in or had plumbing to it. It was one of those, it was a stand-up cooler that you put the water jugs in.
Right.
So you got, you got room temperature water coming out of it, but it was still something.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But yeah, they said that couldn't be there and that had to go out too.
Yeah.
Having fainting employees must have been.
Everybody was on a down note by the time we came back.
Yeah.
It was like we all rode the high going into Terra Mines and coming back out of Terra Mines. It was a very different atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I bet the haunted sarcophagus.
Oh, the lid.
Lid got to stay, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have ran into team members that have found my book after the fact, and they're like, that thing is still there, and it still creeps us out because it's haunted.
Yep.
I so want the lights to be on the ride so I can like look down and see it somewhere.
So if you're on the ride and you know that the ride goes down, you know that someone's just tripped over the lid or something like that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone sneezed on it.
Yeah. It's weird that. I have no explanation for that.
Yep. It's one of our many cursed things. Many cursed things. Gremlins and all that.
It sounds like a whole book in itself.
People seriously go by it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is, guys. Loved it.
This is my type of book.
Nice, quick, easy read. It was good. If you are a fan of theme parks and this ride at all, do yourself a favor.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad with how it turned out, and I really want it to be uplifting for the people that read it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it did that for you, and I really hope it does that for your listeners as well.
Yeah, I know quite a few of our listeners who've bought it off our recommendation, and not a single one of them has regretted it.
Good.
Oh, good. That makes me feel good.
I may be banned from our coffee shop because I started reading it in there. And I actually laughed out loud at one point, and the family in front of me on the next table drank their drinks quickly and left. I was chuckling rather maniacally. It's a good job that I'm in there. Oh, it's so entertaining.
Yeah,
And
it is.
Yeah. Love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for writing it.
I know as fans of The Mummy, and we talked briefly about my Amityboat tour sign. I'm going to be doing the UC and Sons Digging Company sign as well.
Oh, wow.
That's one of my next projects.
Nice.
I wanted to do, you've seen my topographic maps. I'm going to do
Yes.
Hamunaptra as well from the beginning of the 1999 Mummy.
Wow.
So I found the filming location where they actually filmed it. It's a crater in Morocco.
Really?
A real life location. And they used that location again for Spectre.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Spectre from James Bond's the exact same filming location. Nice. So I have the topography of that. That's going to go into the map. And then I'm going to put the hieroglyphs where all the god statues were and mark out where the columns and stuff were. It's been a lot of research, and I wanted it ready for Brendan Fraser to sign at MegaCon, but it didn't get it done in time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, you have told us that you worked on lots of other rides as well. So I'm gonna expect a series of these books, one for each attraction you've worked at. Okay, so that needs to be on your project list.
Definitely. I think my next one would be Poseidon's Fury then. I knew
that would actually be, I feel, an episode coming on about that original, because I've heard bits and bobs of that original attraction, and we're big fans of that, even though it is dated to hell at this point.
Doesn't matter, it's got its charms.
I'm very intrigued to hear much more about that original show.
Yeah, the original show was far superior at showmanship. Like the whole attraction was just written so much better than the new one. The new one had its problems because they had to rush it, and they cut its budget to a quarter of what it was supposed to be when they redid it. And the original one was, the problem is the original one wasn't written for theme park guests. Like, it was very storytelling kind of atmosphere. And the theme park guests at that era weren't ready for that kind of a presentation. So
I'm going to date this podcast now. Maybe that's what they're doing where the walls are up around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're reverting it back to that old
retro.
Yeah.
That
would be amazing.
Yes, it would.
I'd be all over that.
Cool.
All right. So yeah, that I think that's going to wrap up the show.
Nope, I refuse. I want to talk more.
It's been awesome.
All right,
more
we'll go for another hour. Let's do it.
Hey, I'm good for that.
It's been amazing, like hearing all these stories. I could literally hear somebody just talk about their time on a ride and our attraction and all the little things that we don't know.
You can tell when Chris gets overly involved in, like, when a guest's incredibly interesting because you don't hear him speak.
No.
He forgets that he's on a podcast and he sits there and becomes a listener for an hour.
That was an issue I used to have a long time ago. And yes, it does happen because I'm just listening to all these stories, you know.
Would you like me to give you one more story that's not inside the book?
Please.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. Real fast. So we had, this is maybe about a month or two into having the Imhotep, the first Imhotep animatronic being installed. We're all riding it and everyone's like, hey, that new effect looks really good on there. And we're like, what new effect? They're like, oh yeah, the sound pouring effect coming out of Imhotep. It looks like he's pouring down sand. We're like, what? What are you talking about? And so then we noticed that everyone's got these little like yellow dots all over their clothes that they don't realize that they've had yet. And we're like, oh no. So one of our leads gets on, and sure enough, Imhotep had sprung a leak in his neck of yellow hydraulic fluid.
Wow.
It was pouring down his skin, and it looked phenomenal in the lighting. It did look like he was pouring sand. But as he flung his arms around, it soaked the car.
Oh my gosh.
And we're like, how many cars did we send like that?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Guys, we need some more fluid back here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, under almost every animatronic in the animation pit, it's lined with the similar absorbent pads, so like adult diapers. It's just spread out all over all over the ground. Animal pee pads. There you go.
Yeah.
So it's like Imhotep was tinkling. He just really had to go. Hadn't let it go in several hundred years.
Yeah.
Of course.
Wow.
I believe it was that same day, Reggie had one of his hinges in his hip broke.
Ow.
And so he was bent over fully.
Oh, no.
Like, he was 90 degrees from where he was supposed to be and completely out of position. So when Imhotep came out of the coffin and started flailing his arm around, like he throws his arm to the right to suck Reggie's soul out. But Reggie's head's in the way of that motion, and he is just slapping the crap.
That's amazing.
Every single time he comes out, just whack.
Oh, Reggie.
That's awesome.
That was around the same time that happened.
Brilliant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we went into alternate show mode for both of them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I felt surprised. Wow.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap up the show now. But before we do, Mike, would you let everybody know where they can buy the book and also let everyone know about your side project as well?
Okay. You can find my book available on my website at Ionox Media, IONOX media.com. You can get your printed copy there. Otherwise, you can also find it on Amazon by looking up The Third Unit, Revenge of the Mummy. It'll come up. Please, for the love of God, buy it on Ionox Media. I get more of a percentage than Amazon is willing to pay
There you
out.
go. Yes, everyone
Otherwise,
do that.
if you want the digital copy, go for Amazon. Aside from that, if you go to ionoxmedia.com, you can see that I'm actually, I do wood carved and laser etched artwork. And lately I've gotten into 3-dimensional maps of the theme parks as well as recreating some of the ride marquees out of wood. My latest one's about to go up this week, which is the Captain Jake's Amity Boat Tour sign.
So good.
I premiered it at MegaCon and I sold out of them within a couple hours. So
awesome.
Yeah,
you guys have to check it out. I mean, I went onto your Etsy, and that Universal Studios Florida shadow box of the map, I'm eyeing it real hard.
Thank you.
It is so cool.
Yeah, it's the Islands one. I know, Mike, when you started doing them, you were sharing them with me, and I was like, that Islands one is amazing.
Yep, that's coming soon, probably within the next few months after my next one's actually the Magic Kingdom, since they're about to have their 50th anniversary. I really want to have the Magic Kingdom done in time for that. But funny enough, I know you're not a Disney podcast, but I got a copy of the original schematics for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which was one of the attractions that premiered at Walt Disney World. And it's going to be my first attempt at doing a 3D version of the schematic. So I'll have etchings where the ride track is and where the characters are. as well as an etched version of the ride vehicle put in the shadow box. But if that goes well, I plan on doing some of the other ones from Universal Studios.
Awesome.
The Dark E.T. will probably be the first one I tackle because it has a more complex ride track, a prettier ride track. I mean, Jaws is one big loop, and so is King Kong, so it's not going to look as interesting as something like E.T. Maybe Men in Black in the future. Definitely Spider-Man. Definitely Spider-Man.
Just throwing this out there. Don't forget about us water people, the Volcano Bay. We love.
Yes.
I love Volcano Bay, and if I could see something like you did with that Universal map, it's for sure finding its way to my wall.
Definitely. Volcano Bay will be on my list. I like doing the opening years of these things. So, the map you saw was the 1990 map.
Yeah.
It's actually what it is an aerial photo of the park on that day. And I sat for 2 weeks on my computer tracing every single line for the paths and buildings. Wow. So that is 1 to 2,701 scale of the actual park. So that is it, just made out of wood.
Awesome. Yeah, they are so cool.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is it. And we're going to end the show with another listener submitted Universal Is. And this one's going to actually come from Mike himself. Now, all you have to do if you want to be involved is let us know what you think Universal is in 3 words or less. And you can email, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, Friendster, whatever you want. Send them all to us. But for this week, Mike, it's over to you.
Universal is adventure, family, home.
Thank you all. See you next time.
My other leg!
Guess that wraps things up for another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. You guys did all right. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Listen and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere podcasts are found. You can find our blog at uuopodcast.com. Send us your spews, which Lou gets your poo recordings, questions, or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, and our awesome sponsors, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company. So, until next time, don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.